What's up, YouTube? I had a completely different video I was gonna upload today. It was just another video of cops trying to tase somebody and the taser not working. And I'm just like, you know what? At this point, I'm beating a dead horse. How many more videos do I need to make of cops trying to tase somebody and then the taser not working and then the cops get the shit beat out of them? Plus, shout out to Jetty. He left a comment on the last video I made called Responsibility, and the comment reads, old world order, people knew how to survive in nature, so they had to be tricked into believing there was a God, into believing that a God was necessary for their survival. Religion equals social control. New World Order, less people believe in God, but it's irrelevant because people don't know how to survive in nature. Money is necessary for people's survival. Money is completely controlled. Money is completely controlled means people's survival and behavior is completely controlled. Economics equals social control. Money is the new eclipse trick. Cue the eclipse on the dollar bill. Shout out to Jetty for that absolutely goated comment. He's better than me because he actually the only reason I'm making this video, man, is because in my own personal friends group, I had to remind 3 of my closest friends that money isn't a real thing, right? It's not a natural thing. It's a human invented product that humans made from nature's resources. The whole reason I had to remind them of this is because one of my friends was like, Chris, I'm starting to look my age now. I think overworking is having a toll, and he doesn't need to overwork. That's the thing. He makes good money, but he got sucked into the trap of wanting to make more money than he actually needs for what he wants to do. We used to call him the permanent 14-year-old, and now he actually looks his age, right? Obviously, he's not 14. He's, I think, 24 or 23. But he doesn't look 14 anymore. And, you know, people are going to ask, why is this important? Physical manifestation is the final step, guys. If you get it, you're going to eventually begin to look like you get it, okay? That's just how it is. But yeah, these 3 friends, and listen, right, I'm not saying don't get your money. Money is a useful tool, right? It can be used to acquire natural resources, but the end game goal is to get natural resources. That's why this comment is so goated, is because in modern society, almost nobody knows how to get natural resources without money. Religion was needed to control people before, because people before were a direct threat to the ruling hierarchy because they could survive in nature. They could survive without religion. They could survive without money. In 2025, in 2025, this is the difference. 5,000 years ago, you were born in nature. Your parents, your society, your tribe taught you how to survive in nature. They taught you how to obtain natural resources. 2025, you're born in a fucking hospital in human invented society, and you go to school and you learn about 20 different genders, you learn about my truth, you learn about beliefs, and you learn about opinions. You don't learn anything useful except how to rely on an unnatural system to survive, how to rely on money, right? School teaches you how to dedicate your whole fucking life to chasing money when money isn't an actual real thing. Shout out to DJ Hives. DJ Hives, I've been shouting you out a lot, buddy. But in his book, Die Sheep Will Die, which I have as a book, well, I mean, you guys can't click on my bookmarks, obviously. You can find the book yourself. I don't need to fucking babysit y'all all the time, but DJ Hives explains it very well in his book Die Sheep Will Die. The lie is that money is to represent natural resources. That's why before we had the gold standard, where the U.S. Federal Reserve would only print money if there was a gold equivalent. But even fucking gold doesn't have any value at like any real value. What the fuck can you do with gold? Think about what I just said. You're living in nature. What use is gold? Like, what use is gold? Before the physical dollar, you had gold coins or silver coins. I don't remember if gold or silver coins came first, but you had money, right? And the lie is that money is supposed to represent natural resources. You cannot physically make something to represent natural resources because nature's resources are infinite, right? And because especially if you consider the expanding universe theory, the universe is always growing, the resources are always expanding. How the fuck can you make something that's supposed to represent a resource that continues to grow indefinitely? You can't. But this is the lie they gave to society, right? So, and it didn't just happen overnight, okay? This was the gradual process of thousands of years, because even 5,000 years ago, I think there was still some type of currency for most societies in the world. I just don't remember if it was gold or silver that came before the dollar, and then before gold and silver, you had bronze coins and copper coins and shit. So this money shit has been around for a very long time, but the difference is 5,000 years ago, even when there was still money, the people could say, fuck this money shit, we're just going to go out in nature and get all that we need. We really don't need the government, right? It took a very long time before governments became as centralized and powerful as they are right now. Even in the medieval days, a king did not have absolute power like the movies portray, right? It was a very complicated political game. But the main reason I wanted to make this video is because in addition to having to remind my closest friends not to get dragged into this trap, and I'm entertaining the trolls, I have to learn not to do that. But it's just fun bullying these people, man. Sometimes I can't help myself. But entertaining the trolls, I have talked about money on my channel before, how much I make, etc. Because it is useful, but it's not the end game goal. Money is a means to an end, a tool that you can use to get your end result, but it should never be the end result. But in modern society where nobody knows, like, people can't even tie their own fucking shoelaces, people can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman, people can't even count to fucking 10 without using a calculator, people can't even, like, in law enforcement, we learn, I mean, I can't even say we learn, because this is something you should already know, but law enforcement officers learn how to go outside and tell time the natural way, because if you're outside, the sun rises from the east and sets to the west, okay? So if the sun is towards the east, right, you know it's before 4 o'clock. If it starts to get above you, you know it's around 5, and if it starts to set to the west, you know it's after 5, because it starts to go down. So we learn how to tell time that way, and how to tell direction. If the sun is this way, you're looking at the east. If the sun is that way, you're looking at the west, because it rises from the east. My bad. So east is right. This will be where the sun rises. So it was set to your left in the west, right? And then left of east is north, right of east is south, whatever, right? This is just a natural way to tell direction and tell time. But Almost nobody in modern society can do that. These motherfuckers got PhDs, these motherfuckers got master's degrees, yet if you take away their Google Maps and put them in the middle of the country, they would not be able to find their way home, man. They would not know how to use the sun to tell direction. They would not know how to use the moon to tell direction and time. When ironically, that's what Jetty referenced in his comment, the new lunar eclipse. That's the origin of power in modern society. Because the ruling elite, they went outside and observed nature. I'm not getting into all that. Y'all can look into that yourselves. I've given away too much free lunch in this video already. But it's like, damn, man. All this education, man. All this training, all these certifications, all this education, all this schooling, and most people walking around in society right now are useless. If you take them out of modern society, they will die within a day. There was a motherfucker who escaped prison, ironically a former police chief in Arkansas. Ironic, right? But he escaped prison and he was living on the land for a month. And he damn near starved to death because he didn't know how to survive in nature. He got his freedom. He was gone. He escaped prison and he went to the source. He should have been good. But despite all that education that he needed to be a police chief, he probably had a master's degree in criminal justice, but didn't know how to survive in nature. And this is the reality, man. You guys are trained from birth to learn a bunch of bullshit. This is the thing, man. Homeless people are the closest to getting it, but the problem is most homeless people are still homeless in society, where they can get handouts. In America, we got fat homeless people. They're still eating good, right? But they're not homeless in nature. They're homeless in society, so they're still using society to survive. But if you can disappear off the grid and just go homeless in nature where nobody can find you, if you know how to survive in nature, you've obtained ultimate freedom. Now, I still want to stay in society for the time being because I'm meeting a lot of great people in society. It's not time to leave yet. But I had to remind my friends the end game goal is natural resources. Again, to anybody watching the video, I'm not saying don't get your money. In society, it's useful. I get it. It's very fucking useful. But nonetheless, Jetty, shout out to you. We have our disagreements, but what's right is right. That comment was goated. People need money now because they cannot survive in nature. Because money doesn't really exist, the people that make the money, they have absolutely control over you and over your society. Because money basically controls modern society. So if you control the money, you control modern society. That's why I laugh at all these stupid conspiracy theories about how the government needs your taxes and how the government needs your money. Motherfucker, they print the money. They don't need your little nickel because they make the $1,000 bills. They control it all. Okay? I'm not telling anybody to YOLO into nature. That's not what I'm doing. Don't get mauled by a fucking bear because you watched this video. Because some people watch, they hear what I say, and then they lose their fucking minds, and then they try to immediately do what I'm talking about. Baby steps, guys. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, right? I'm not saying that because I was a distance runner. There's no bias with what I just said. You gotta slow down, cowboy, okay? There's probably not ever going to be a time in humanity ever again where people are en masse are being raised to understand how to live in nature. Those days are gone. Modern society now is going to teach you about the 50 different genders, the 50 different pronouns, your truth, your opinion, all that bullshit. how to be politically correct, how to be socially correct, how many different forms of autism there are. This is what you're going to learn in modern society. This is what you're going to learn with a PhD. This is what you're going to learn in school. You're not going to learn how to tell which water is drinkable in nature. You're not going to learn how to cut a tree down and use the natural resource to have a place of shelter. You're not going to learn how to catch fish in the river. You're not going to learn how to corner a deer and skin it for venison. This is not what you're going to learn in society, unless you grow up with a family that's willing to teach you this shit. Okay? Before things get worse, you probably should, but I'm not telling anybody what the fuck to do. In fact, I think I've said enough in this video. Shout out to Jetty, shout out to his comment, shout out to DJ Hives. I'll catch y'all in the next video.